And she's done really well in her field, even though she didn't take any of, or none of us here taught her. She was before we got here. So even though I wasn't her teacher, she's done really well. But MIS major, she's now working at University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston Dental Branch. I want to make sure I got that right. She's moved several times since she left here, moved up quickly through the ranks, so I think you'll be interested in hearing perspective on the real world, and she can kind of compare corporate positions to academia because she's now working at University of Texas. So I'll let her talk, and hopefully we'll have time for questions for her afterwards, or maybe she'll hang around a little bit and let me know if you need a chair. Christine Estes. Hi, everybody. I'll kind of give you guys a different perspective maybe than what you've heard so far. And I think that was the disclaimer that none of them taught me, so if I say something totally out there, they can say, we didn't have anything to do with it. But as she said here, let's see if I can get around a little bit. I graduated from Law in 1999. I don't care if you guys know my age. I'm not one of those women, so there we go. What I'll cover today is a little bit about my background, some of the options and why I chose MIS as a career, and a little bit about my career, some advice or lessons learned, and then just kind of a summary of everything for you. A little bit about my background. As I said, I graduated in '99 with a degree here, Bachelor of Business Administration, majoring in MIS. And some of the reasons why I chose MIS, I enjoyed working with computers. When I was going through the program here at Lamar, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with computers. I knew I enjoyed it, and I also knew that I enjoyed the business aspects of things. And I think that's one of the things that when they were covering earlier, is if you enjoy business but you also enjoy technology, you don't want to get so far into the technology and hardcore programming, such as your CS partners. This is a great field to go into because you get a little bit of both. You're not stuck programming in a corner just doing that all day. You get to interact with people and do some of the business things. So that's one of the things I enjoyed as well. And while I was working my way through college, I had the opportunity to work with a programmer directly on some software, and he was sitting there working on it. I sat beside him working from the business side of it and telling him, some of our requirements. And as I was watching him do it, I really enjoyed what he was doing, and I found that it came natural for me. And so that was one of the key factors as well as going what I went into. When I say there's many career paths available, some of the things reiterating what you've already seen, there's business or systems analyst, programmers, you can go into the hardware aspect of it, networking, security, database, server admins, project management, and one of the new evolving fields is really social media. When you see all the cool things like Facebook and Twitter and all the different ways people communicate today, one of the things you're seeing in corporate and even in academia and places like that, everyone wants to know, how can we leverage that? And you don't want to be the person building the weird little treehouse somewhere out there because you think it's cool to use Facebook or Twitter, and you don't know how you're communicating it and how the people that are using it are actually wanting to use it. And so if you find yourself out there and you're a company and you want to get your information out there, but you're just spamming people with stuff that they're not really interested in, they're not going to friend you anymore, they're going to disassociate from you. And so there's really a niche market with that now as well, with how to integrate that and use that technology. About myself, my career, I started out from here. I went to American National Insurance Company in Galveston. A couple reasons why I selected them, fairly practical. One of them was they offered a programming training class. Now, when I went here to Lamar, I had very little to no programming classes. I think we may have had one at the time, probably something on VB along those lines. And so it wasn't that I had a career or a background in programming. But they offered this 3-month training course, and I wasn't positive what I wanted to do. I, made me feel a little more secure that I could go out, go through a training program. They would pay me my regular salary for the first 3 months I was there and teach me everything I needed to know to go out once I finished that training class and be able to do my job. And so I began working there. My first job out of the training program, I worked on mainframe. So I don't know how many of you guys even know COBOL, JCL, things like that, some old school stuff that is still out there in a lot of companies, surprisingly. Mainframes aren't going away as much as we all might want them to. We also had some client server technologies. I worked in that area for about a year and a half,
And from there, I moved on to web technology. Started doing ASP, Java, things of that nature. And one thing I found very quickly was that with an MIS career, or MIS degree, I found that having that business background was extremely beneficial to have with the technology side of it. Because one of the things you'll find from your CS friends is they're hardcore technology, and that's great if you want somebody just to sit in a corner, code, and do all of that. But what we're finding and what I'm seeing is most companies, there's such a niche for that, and that's great if you want to go to NASA or somewhere. But if you're on the business side of it, if you can communicate and learn and know the business aspects of it and why are we doing what we're doing, you know, that's one of the biggest things. If somebody has to give you full specs on how to go program something or how to go create an application, you don't understand any of the business aspects of it, well then it's not going to be as easy to do. And so with that background, I found it rather easy for me to move into project management. And so I started doing a lot of project management with just a little bit of programming mixed in as time allowed. From the project management, I transferred into management of application developers, and I did that for a while, and then ended up moving on to a different company. But while I was at American National in a 9-year period, I was able to move through 7 different titles while I was there, which is actually a lot. And I think a lot of it had to do with having that business background and being able to communicate with people, understand, you know, why, or not only what you need to do, but why are we doing it? Because if I hand you program specs, maybe the person writing them could be one of you guys, a business analyst side. If you're writing those, the person you're handing them to doesn't understand what you're telling them, then there's probably going to be a disconnect there somewhere. So having the business background, again, very helpful. From there, I went to UT Health Dental Branch. I shortened it. I was kind of rude to Dr. Flossie and gave her our full title that we're supposed to use, but we've kind of, we're moving to UT Health to shorten the name a bit because it's a little verbose. So my title there is Manager of Clinical IT and Web Services. We have about a 300-chair clinic, dental chairs there, where we have students that we're training, then our graduate programs as well. We have several off-site clinics for oral surgery, general dentistry, and things like that, where primarily our resident clinics. And so what I manage there is all the medical record systems that we have. Our system is called Axiom. You're probably not familiar with it because it is dental related and primarily used throughout universities. And the other thing is all of the digital imaging and radiographs. If you're interested in IT, one of the fields you'll see really emerging right now, as you all know, with healthcare reform and everything, is going to be medical records and everything to do with that. And so I'm really happy to be in that field now and be working with that. The other part of my job is web services. That includes all of our public website, the intranet. We have lots of little applications we've written to do various things as well. And I've been primarily focused on the web part for probably the last year, almost my entire time there. If you go visit our website, please don't. At least for another few months. It's absolutely horrible. It was a big mess when I got there, and we've been working on it very hard and diligently to get rid of it and replace it. It's just not very functional, it's not user-friendly, and that's one of the things that regardless of what you go in to do, you always need to think of, if you're in the technology side, how is it going to benefit the customers, the users, whoever's using whatever that technology or application you're working with will do. And so that's a little bit what I'm doing now. Advice or lessons learned, whether you want it or not, here we go. Network, network, network. I cannot tell you how many times that people I've known or people I have acquaintances with or have met through various venues have either given someone I know jobs or have been a connection. Recently we hired a Lamar graduate to come work for me. I contacted Dr. Flossie and said, hey, I'm looking for somebody. I want somebody fresh out of school. MIS graduate would be great. Do you guys have anybody that you know is recently graduated, about to graduate? We're not getting the resumes I'd like to see. And do you have anybody? So they posted the job for us. And I am very happy to say we hired a Lamar graduate, and he has worked out wonderfully for us. I could not ask for a better employee. So keep up, attend your professional organizations, regardless of what you major in, be it accounting, MIS, whatever. attend the organizations, network, meet people, keep up with the people that you're going to school with, because they're going to go out there and get jobs at other companies. Stay in touch, because you never know when you might want to move on, or there's an opportunity where they're at, or vice versa. You may make it into management, be looking for somebody that you know is good that you can pull onto your team. So always make sure and network. Be careful what you expose on social media. I can tell you as a manager, when I go to hire someone, it is not unlikely that I'm going to go out and Google your name and see what comes up. A lot of people will do it, and it is amazing the things that people will expose on social media. So just be careful with that. Put what you want, just lock it down so God and everybody else can't see what you're doing. Keep up and evolve with the technology, and this is one of the other things that it really doesn't matter what your major is, be it MIS, accounting, whatever it is. Technology is going to integrate with anything you're doing. Marketing, it doesn't matter what your major is. Technology is there. It's going to be an integral part of your daily job. So keep up with it. Read blogs and publications about whatever it is your major is and all of that. Play with it. Don't be scared of it. That's the one thing. It doesn't matter, if you've been taught how to do something or not. Just get in there and go for it. You're not going to break something. Put it in an environment where you can't. And that's my advice. And finally, as far as technology is concerned, there are truly limitless possibilities and opportunities for you out there. With a career in MIS, it's served me extremely well. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's always new. It's changing. It's evolving as you go. I would say if you don't like things that evolve and change on you, technology is not your field. But that's kind of everything these days. You have to be able to keep up and change and know that as things evolve, you're going to stay with them, or you're going to get left behind and you're going to find somebody else is getting those promotions and moving on when that you might want that to be you instead. So, yeah, keep it short. So if you guys have questions, if anybody has questions, I'm more than happy